Well, that was strange. Hello, creatives, community, and kind folks. Welcome to RPG with DBJ. I'm your host, DBJ, and today we are doing our Armchair Futurist series where we take a look at AI systems and I have a bit of a debate, a discussion about where it fits. Uh, we are not here to agree with each other, but we're here for me to present to you a stance on these systems and basically from my interactions from around the interwebs, how some people are viewing these large language models. And I thought we would take a look at it. And, on this side of the interwebs, we're it's like us hanging around the table. We love playing tabletop role playing games and talking about heady subjects before or after the game, and that's what we do over here. So of course, we have to grab our snacks, put our feet up, and get ready. And of course, bring your A game, bring your brilliance, and let's talk about. Today, we are going to talk about AI as a guide, a mentor, a teacher, an educator. And is this outlook presentable in the manner in which we are using these so-called AI systems today? So, guys, let's get past the intro and then we will delve into AI as a teacher. Hello, everybody. It's no surprise that yeah, just a little bit of side project. I we are easily distracted here. We learn from our feline producers to be easily distracted, and one of those things is talking about the future. And as an armchair futurist, and when I say armchair, I'm someone who's uneducated in the nuances of these things, but I feel like it's a valuable lesson to look at new technologies and our delve into the future, because your average person is going to use and think about these things, and I'm consider myself to be pretty damn average, so I think we could take a look at it from that angle. And uh, of course there are experts, of course there are the individuals who are uh, the front lines, the instant new adopters, but the rest of us who are quite unsure about these things may get left behind, may not know what's going on, may not know the inner workings. But as I displayed previously, these AI systems are kind of getting shoved down our throat. And normally I don't present things that way in a manner of saying that, because most of us have a lot of choices, right? Just because something exists doesn't mean it's getting foisted on you. It just means that it just happens to be one of a number of things of a possibility. Now, yes, I can choose to use or not use these things, but like, nearly everybody's phone, their search engine, and things attached to it, and businesses are adopting some form of mechanism that they're calling AI. Now, I think technically they're called large language models, and it's supposed to ostensibly make our lives easier. And I'm going to try to present a debate, maybe a little bit more difficult than I'm thinking it is at the moment, that these systems are here to teach us and to guide us into a future, making us essentially better people and intellectually. And I'm I'm a bit dubious, but I'm going to try to make the case. We're I'm going to try to be the great debater and take that form. I don't consider it that much of an excursion because real life futurist topics easily fit in with RPG settings. I agree. I agree. I mean, what is it? It's already been proven that like tabletop role playing games are an excellent tool to use for education purposes anyway, and psychological uh, reassessment, I guess would be another term that tabletop role playing games are proving. As a matter of fact, there's even there's a huge underground in prisons of playing tabletop role playing games. Uh, Although they are thrown in the category of gambling, which I can kind of understand. But yeah, and it's escapism, and it's about using speculative fiction, right? It's what if. So, all right, let me begin my debate and try to take this stance here. Although I can feel myself going like, I don't know if I'm going to be too successful in this. All right. So one of the things that these large language models, AI systems, is able to do is search and compile a lot of information and present it to you. Now, one of the most common things I think anybody has ever done online is try to find an answer by going to databases, right? Wikipedia, all the wikis are examples of that. The uh, an oldie but goodie is IMDb, the Internet Movie Database. When you want to look up someone's like age, or I mean, an actor's age, or movies they've been in, or uh, you start snapping your fingers and you're like, remember that person that was in that thing at that time with that movie or that TV show with that other person, and everyone's floundering as the movie or television show starts and trying to figure out um, they've seen someone who happens to be that person in that thing, and it's so on and so forth, right? We're fantasy and sci-fi geeks, and there's wikis dedicated to nearly every intellectual property, and so AI systems kind of operate like that, except they do the searching and fetching, and they come back and give you an answer. Now, something that I've seen starting to happen in these systems now is that not only are they, regurgitating to you an answer, which can be a little dangerous because even if, I shut off Gemini, and I believe there's even another system. Let's see if I can get it called another system. Um, what's the name of Google's? It's just called AI mode. I'll toss on AI mode. And what these systems are doing now is they are not only giving you an answer to keep you engaged, they're also having a bunch of questions at the tail end after giving you an answer. So maybe you're looking up, you want to find the best pair of sneakers or walking shoes or something of that nature, and it will give you a list, or maybe tell you about the make and model of what a shoe should be, and then it may give you some products and some clickables, and then at the end of it will give you 1 to 3 questions like, oh, what is this for? Are you planning on hiking? Is this a gift? I don't know, do you have back problems or something like that? Like, it'll add some questions to keep you engaged to ask further questions. Now, we know, and I poke fun at with people sometimes, because those of us that are talking heads on the internet will oftentimes we'll get into conversations, and someone will pose a question, and it will make me hesitate a little bit, not because necessarily the question itself, but I start thinking and go, wouldn't it be better if you ask the internet that question? Like, use a search engine? Because, basically every phone, every access we have to the internet gives us all human knowledge. Yet, humanity isn't that much more intelligent. Um, we could all look up brain surgery or rocket science, but that the internet, while having nearly all human knowledge available to us for free, we haven't gotten a large percentage of us have not gotten that much smarter. Now, we understand that, like someone like myself, I've saved probably thousands or tens of thousands of US dollars by, getting online and learning how to fix a refrigerator and an air conditioning unit, a garbage disposal. These are real things that happen. A washer and dryer fixed multiple times. A oven microwave that has been replaced 3 times, and so many more things, right? A cheap way to get rid of weeds that are growing up in um, my stone patio. And I mean, and mind you, there's a billion and one different ways to cook items and how to gather things together. And I think these AI models could do that for us. One of the limitations, I think, is the fact that, unlike the old search engines, which would just give you a list of websites, supposedly the more relevant, and then as you start looking at the list of websites, they start becoming less relevant. I think the fear is, asking the AI model for an answer, and when you get the answer, what is the system having it choose that answer? Because it's so funny. No. Well, mind you, I don't go to one source and go, type in, like I say, like YouTube or something, and go, how do I fix my washer? Find the first video and go, yep, I fixed it. No. I usually find about at least 5 or 6 from different sources, and then figure out the one that's most appropriate to what I'm looking for and stuff. So I know how to do the scientific method, right? Like, compare and contrast, and what is it, trust but verify kind of thing. And I don't know if humanity is any good at that, but I do know that using AI, it might and not asking generalized questions. I pick with my wife sometimes because we'll be sitting down watching television or moving around something, and she'll ask me a question, and I'll go, I don't know. I have no idea. And then she looks at me like, well, you always know the information. And I'm like, no, I don't. I know how to look for the information, and it makes me look smarter, but I'm like, I don't know. I just know how to find it. I don't know how to do it, or or whatever the case might. And it could be nearly anything. And she's just like, but you know everything. I'm like, sure, because I have a phone in my pocket, like the phone in yours. Yeah, it's pretty hilarious sometimes where like, and it's not rude or improper or something, but like on the interweb, sometimes people will get mad at us live streamers because we'll get things wrong. And I'm going like, at what point did we ever think that we were like experts on a thing? And even experts can get things wrong. Like, you can trust but verify. You go, no, that guy's got a good opinion, but let me look it up just to make sure. And now, unfortunately, if we take a look at a lot of these AI systems, at the very bottom of darn near every program use, whether you're using like Gemini or one of the versions of Chat GPT and some of these other things, at the very bottom, it's like, it could be wrong. You need to back check it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, to be honest with you, because if you just trust it at face value, you're going to be pretty wrong, whatever the information could be. Now, this is something scary that I've heard, and I wonder how effective this is. So some of the people out there trying to make the valuation of their particular AI system are touting are touting AI as like the great liberator. And on multiple podcasts, I've heard these individuals, and mind you, take this with a grain of salt, because these are people who have businesses that being valued in the billions of dollars, are talking about lesson plans being put together for their homeschool kids using AI, and that they're having AI agents go around, collect lesson plans, search for information, have information presented to their kids, give lesson plans, and then the parents are then coming behind and being given a summary of what the children are being taught. Now, I, I I'm a bit dubious about that, but I can see AI systems maybe educating people on giving us a continuous educational experience far beyond what going to school would be. Meaning we could continue to be taught something for the rest of our lives. And as a person who's crested his mid-century of his life, I'm in my mid-50s. I'm on my downhill slide, and I'm still learning things and enjoying it as well. And I would like to hope that, could we just tell our AI system, hey, listen, give me a lesson plan, or I'd like to learn about some esoteric skill or knowledge or something of that nature, and maybe combined or interacting with social media groups, it would search out other social media groups, learn us, get us in touch with those groups, and then start teaching us a thing. Book clubs are one of the closest I can think of off the top of my head as a possible AI learning system, where it gives us some basic information, hooks us up with other individuals that are trying to learn the same thing, like reading a book, and then having discussion groups, and inserting itself at various times to present to us even more information based on how we are interacting with that information, and teaching us, instead of like one professor or instructor or something teaching 30 kids or 60 new students, or teaching 18 grad students or whatever. It could be available to us on a one-to-one basis, like literally in our phone, sending us text messages and things like that. Spook says, sorry, dropped my phone while typing. Spook says, I think there is serious potential for LLMs, large language models, to work as archivists and librarians in the future, especially if we lock them into one database. But since they can be easily changed with a few keystrokes, yeah. Case in point being XAI suddenly spamming Twitter with the topic of white genocide on South Africa after Elon defended the I can't remember what that was about. But yeah, see, that's the problem. Is it's not that the systems work, it's what is the basis for how they work. And that is such a difficult thing, because we don't know what the background of the basis is. And as long as it's being programmed, it's not neutral, because every programmer has a bias, and every company has an agenda. Pete Giant says AI is useful to bounce ideas off. Thinking requires this, so can be useful when a teacher or mentor isn't available. I definitely agree. And I'm guilty of getting stuck in a rut, like, oh, I can't think of a good idea. Hey, random AI system, give me 10 ideas that are blah 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 blah. Or can you think of a better idea than the usual? Or can you, whether it's like storytelling or world building or something, it's like, oh, I want to break this trope. What are like what are like top 10 tropes and how to break them or whatever, and then look at those and go, oh, I didn't think about this thing. And so I agree. I think especially when we're by ourselves, and let's be honest, it is true that we are in a uh, us first worlders are suffering from an epidemic of loneliness, and AI could be it could be the friend, the mentor, the the person sitting over our shoulder, uh, technologically, that would help us out when we get stuck in a rut. And like I joked the other day, which is true. Uh, Chat GPT has a very positive outlook for you when it comes with responses. It does a lot of like um, thumbs up, good job kind of language when it responds to a query. So like maybe you're like, hey, I thought I would use, I don't know, ogres and nagas in my fantasy game. What do you think? And it almost doesn't matter what you type in. It goes, hey, Joey or Adriana or Amir or something. That's a great idea. You know what? I think you're onto something. And then it'll do the search query and come back. And then after it gives a query at the very, very bottom, it'll go, I think this is going to really work out for you. Hey, if you have any other ideas, like maybe, and then it'll have a couple of questions. Don't hesitate to ask me. Like it's very like upbeat, positive, and like really um, it's like a coach. It's like your best friend. Like you got this. You're great. And there's like a growing, there's a minor but growing uh, groundswell of people who are just like, it's stupid that it's so positive. You know what I mean? And so what's the movie? There's a movie, Interstellar, where there are these square cubic robots that are in the movie Interstellar. One of the robots is named Tars. I can't remember the other one, but anyway, they modulate the one of the actors tells the robot and modulates its like humor level and things like that, or sarcasm level or something. I wonder if we'll start to get sliders. Like one of my AIs, I asked, hey, I need a name for you, because I was like, I want to give it a name, and it picked the name Orion because I was talking about science fiction, and it was like, hey, how about the name Orion? And I was like, cool beans. You know. Pete Giant says, I found it interesting to provide AI with abstract ideas along with the problem you're trying to solve. Can come up with interesting ideas and responses. I agree. And uh, like before, we were talking about the fact that these AI systems are, outside of the information they're giving back to us. Yes, I know that, like I said, they're being created by human beings, so they have a bias. They are being taught a bias by us as we interact with everything in the world, and it starts scraping all that information about us. And every business has an agenda. Every business wants to basically um, uh, take labor and extract the labor out of people or institutions and come back with a profit. So every business, you know what I mean? So they're not, it's not a public utility. Although I argued that there are some who think AI should be like a public utility, that it should be free and open to everyone, because it literally exists off the information that we provided for it. I'm taking today as saying, well, maybe if we start asking it and using it like a teacher, it will start giving us information and making us better for it. Now, mind you, these kind of systems already exist around us. Like, for example, people wear the health trackers, health tracking rings and bands, so that people are interested in specific things like their health, or a particular I'm into science fiction, so I might be interested in science fiction novelization. But AI could be our best wingman. Like, hey, I'm meeting someone for the first time. I don't want to f this up because I think she might be the one. Give me, can you give me some ideas to break the tension, uh, uh, because I'm meeting this person for the first time, something of that nature. Or we're trying to get a job, and it's like, what are some great questions I can ask my employer that will impress them with myself? We saw this actually a little dark. We saw a version of this in Black Mirror. I think Black Mirror has like 7 seasons now. Although each season doesn't have that many episodes, at least how we look at it in the States. But there's one episode where a guy and a lady go on a date with each other, and they are wearing glasses, and they are taking along with them a Zoom call. Hey, Drew. It's like a Zoom call, and each of them thinks that they are looking at the other person alone, but behind the scenes, there's a number of people that are like trying to help this guy on a date, and and things like that. I mean, I suppose AI could be that close to us by giving us ideas for, like, hey, what are some great jokes? Um, or you're at work and you have the AI system, and you're like, hey, I want to impress my boss. Is there a better way to organize these, metric system bolts here in the United States? Because we use, a different methodology. And then the AI can go like, well, here's some ideas that you can tell your boss or something. I mean, it could become like that. And I think, even using audio systems and visual systems, I think it's even getting that good. But even so, even without having like the AI in your glasses, at lunchtime, will AI could it guide us a little bit? Like, hey, I'm a little bit bored at lunch. I've only got 20 minutes. Um, can you call up a lesson plan? Or, hey, can you find an article or a blog post that only takes me 10 minutes to read that could, teach me more or something? Yeah, Shai says loneliness is the human condition, for we live as a dream alone. Your country's GDP doesn't even enter into it. I agree. Also, everybody's always online in developing nations too. Yeah, yeah. Spook says, I agree about AI being a free service. Oh, wow. Okay. If it's going to learn from our free information, it should remain free information rather than a privatized internet. And that was the other day. I was making the point. Like I said, I'm the debater, right? I'm the one trying to start the argument, if there is one. And I was like, listen, if it stole our stuff already, and it already has, and nearly impossible to give it back, right? If it's already stolen it, you're not going to get it back. But what it could do, and what these companies could do, and actually what lawmakers could possibly do, is make at least a certain base level 1.0 AI system free to everyone, similar to like having running water or electricity in your home. Like, no, you guys made billions off of this, or are making billions off of this with your valuation. At the minimum you can do is to allow a portion of it, or 2 cycles removed version AI system. Because like I said, I think Chat GPT right now is at 6.0 or 6.5 or something. So I don't know. Dungeon Masterpiece did a 365 room dungeon with the help of AI. The best results, in my opinion, were those with abstract prompts. There's a lot of channels out there now talking about making the best prompts, and I agree, because I went down a rabbit hole of I made artificial science fiction characters based on real people that I knew, kind of, and experiences. And I went down a rabbit hole of making these making a story, and it was pretty accurate. It got to a point where I was like, "Oh, this is different. Okay, that's fun." And then all of a sudden, it went down an accuracy of I was like, "When were you over my shoulder?" kind of thing. So yeah. Shai says using AI as a wingman is a guarantee it will go through all the pickup artist stuff, yeah, from the manosphere to give you really bad ideas. That's true. That is true. Unless you, I see now with the AI systems, if you ask the right question, or like Pete Giant is mentioning, like if you massage the right request, you can get back some pretty interesting, pretty interesting responses. There you go. See, Pete Giant says, yeah, create a 12-room dungeon using undead monsters. Use concepts of loneliness, loss, and the changing of seasons. Essentially, trying to use prompts that normally would not associate with the thing you're asking about, right? Like, when I went down a literary rabbit hole by using some of these like science fiction characters, and I was like, I wonder if it's going to create an interesting interaction with them. I specifically asked about like, please use subtext. Have characters say the thing without saying the thing directly. Or I think things using things like Pete Giant mentioned, seasons, loneliness, and loss. Using emotional context when you're talking about physical responses. Like for example, using it for like an art prompt. Like, hey, I want a character doing something, you know, um, and a prompt would have to do with their background or what their thoughts are or something like that. And see if the AI can actually build into it. I do agree. Drew points out, don't ask AI for improvements. The answers are always mediocre since it only can take averages into account. And yeah, if you ask a very simple question, it's always going to go to the middle. It's going to go to the average, right? How many? If you ask, I'm just making an example. If you ask AI how to get rich or whatever, it's going to give you the most basic the most basic interactive elements. Put money in a bank account, uh, invest in stocks, and it's like, no, I want specifics, and it's like, yes, invest in stocks. It's like, well, that's not that great. I know that, but I mean, yeah. Regarding topic, as much toying with AI can be fun, I don't do it would be useful as a teacher instructor, at least for me. But I am I am an autodidact anyway. I don't know what that is. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm correct. I'm saying like there are I've heard from the grapevine, the interwebs grapevine, people are saying or taking the position that AI will be our instructors. Um, give it a try on ChatGPT. Let's see. All right, let's see something here. Let's see. Let's go to OpenAI. Mm, 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 mm. Welcome back. Why isn't why am I not going there? That is weird. Okay, let's try it again. Log in. Let's do something random. All right, here we go. Let me share this out. See if we can come up with something. Drew says, I concur. AI works better with more specifications, especially thematic or mood frameworks, help to avoid to just produce boring stuff. I agree. I agree with that. Springboard and tabling and things of that nature. Right. So let allow me to see if I can, mind you, okay, here. Now, mind you, this is just me doing this very generally here. I wonder if you could come up with a lesson plan or something like that. So let's see. I want to learn new. I want to learn new things every day. I want to improve improv improve my knowledge base. Please, let me say what now we got to get specific. Please let's see. Please give, I want to be very general. Give me a lesson plan I can learn from 10 minutes each day. Please search and return we'll say 500 words, 500 word doc that is easy to read. A 10-minute daily learning plan, got an objective to cultivate a consistent daily learning habit that broadens your knowledge and sharpens cognitive skills. Very general. Very general. Time allotment, minute 1, set your intentions. Minutes 2 to 7, engaged with the content. Like, for example, today I will understand the basics of photosynthesis. Choose a topic of interest. Minutes 9 through 10, reflect and summarize. Write a brief summary of what you've learned. Note any questions or areas for further exploration. And then minute 10, plan for tomorrow. Decide on a topic, next topic or skill to explore. Set a goal to build upon today's knowledge. Okay, so let's see. Wonder if AI can be an excellent teacher. I've misspelled that, of course. What's a good lesson plan? I mentioned sneakers the other day. I want to know how sneakers, I don't know what they're called, trainers, other places, sneakers or trainers are constructed. Of course it knows, it thinks it's a AI can absolutely be an excellent teacher. Well, look who I'm asking, especially for curious learners like you who enjoy structured bite-sized lessons. Let's dive in today's 10-minute lesson, and so on and so forth. The main parts: upper, midsole, outsole, the insole or sock liner, head counter. I never heard of that. Tongue and lacing system, how sneakers are made, the process, kind of breaking it down, just organizing it and stuff. Bonus fact. Now, what it's not doing is it's not giving me the links, because at the very bottom of this, it says ChatGPT can make mistakes, check important info. And I think that's the part about learning these kind of things and having it, scrape information from the internet. It's like if the AI doesn't know it or gets it from a place that's where the information's wrong, it doesn't go back and correct that. You know what I mean? Bonus fact: sustainable sneakers. If I've heard about that. Reflection: sneakers combine science, art, and engineering. Would you like to continue tomorrow with how different sneakers are designed for different sports, like basketball or running, or go into the business of sneaker culture next? And this is the part that, while I understand it's designed to keep me engaged, I'm actually a fan of the answer the question with a question. I'm a bit of a fan of that because I feel like for us human beings, we often don't know how to ask the question. Like, we know the information we want and we have search engines, but I feel like AI, the way these chat systems are working now, is to get the best out of them, we have to learn our way in terms of how to interact with them, right? Like, there's whole YouTube channels dedicated to prompts and prompting. And sorry, let me put my head back up here again. There we go. Drew says autodidacts are people who learn best by themselves, like people who are sufficient with just reading a topic or learning languages by listening and reading, and not someone telling them how it is done. Oh, okay. Yeah, because I'm a visual learner, visual and hands-on learner. So I could read it in a book, but I really don't. I really won't get it unless I see it or someone shows it to me. Like, yeah, I would like to. I really have to put my hands on the physical workings of an object or something like that. Yeah, using AI in my work is borderline illegal. Hey, if you're an entertainer, yeah, it's unfortunate. yeah, absolutely. I feel like many, if not most, nerds are autodidacts, absorbing large quantities of information without needing classes for it. Now, that I agree with, right? I don't believe everybody learns exactly the same way. Like the classroom structure is a bit. It's clearly while it is useful, many people understand that the traditional classroom is a bit outdated. Like there can be better ways to learn. And as we see from various articles happening around the world, that college students are using AI to write their papers, and the colleges themselves are using AI to grade those papers. And it's like the humans involved in it are like, it's like AI talking to AI again. It's like really weird. Yeah. At the end of the school day, teach you how to learn. I've learned so much more stuff when I got out of school. It's wild, Drew. Like, while I did learn some things in school, and I'm not putting down my teachers at all. Maybe I'm criticizing the education system a bit, but when I got out of school, and I think a lot of that has to do with enthusiasm as well. I learned so much more when I got out of school. Like I said, tabletop role-playing games educated me far more, got me interested in history and language and science and literature and all kinds. I don't think I would have ever learned, to even. Anyone can read a book, but like following a movie director, it wasn't until out of school that when I would read a novel, I want to know who wrote that novel. I want to know. There was an artist named Jerry Porneal, who there was like 4, 5, 6 writers, and they would write science fiction books together. So many of them, like Larry Niven, Jerry Porneal, and it was a bunch of them that were like a writing circle during like the 80s, I want to say. And man, these guys were punching out science fiction one after another. And it'd be like, oh, one of my friends would find a novel and go, did you know Larry Niven wrote with so and so? And I'm like, really? And they collaborated? That's weird. And then I would write, I find out these other people. It was like being a fanboying, like or whatever. Like musicians, sometimes you want to know who wrote the song, who produced it, and things like that. It's kind of cool. I hear you, but it's going to happen though. It's going to happen. Yeah, the Shy Squad says, I don't mean just my just for fun music channel. I mean the technical translation shit I do. It would be a bad idea to plug all this corporate internal data into an AI, but it will. It will. The most expensive resource every corporation has to spend money on ever are the people that do the work. Labor is the most expensive thing that corporations pay for by far. Even when they have to pay for expensive equipment and land and resources and things like that, it's because the paying for people is eternal. You're always paying salaries. You're always hiring. You're always letting them go. You're always hiring more people. Now you got to pay somebody else even more money. And all those people that you hire, they all want to get more money. And if you can reduce labor, and AI can reduce labor, and that's unfortunate. But school teaches us what society thinks we need to know. We learn what we're interested in on our own. I agree. And I even think. This isn't an argument. It's a bit of a challenge to what you just said there, Spook. I even think that schools don't even teach us what we need for society. If schools taught us what we needed for society, they would teach us how to they would teach us how to read our paycheck, right? They would teach us how to pay bills and be upstanding citizens, and I don't believe school does that. It doesn't. Like, I've never had a lesson plan that was like, here, I'm going to show you, when taxes are taken out of your check, I'm going to show you how to calculate percentages and things of that nature. Like, I've never got taught that in school. I mean, very minorly. I mean, they'll teach basic math and basic history, but no, as operating as a citizen, I really wish school would do that in a better way. I mean, how great of a countries would we be if they taught us things like in how to I don't know. I'm going down a rabbit hole in my brain. I got to stop. Okay. Drew says, I'm fine with putting most of my teachers down, but then ADHD never made it easy to deal with teachers. Yeah, coffee is all I needed. And then I absorbed knowledge without even trying. See, and that's the thing, right? Like, I think, especially because so many of us are alone, like, I can't remember, well, a little more now, but I don't have as many physical friends as I used to. But I still interact with a lot of people. Yeah, cooking, finance. That used to be a thing. What was it called? Shop classes for like building things. And then there was, what was the class about learning how to sew and cook? I can't remember. But yeah, maybe learning how to be a husband and a housewife. Maybe that's going a little too far, but yeah. Yeah, Shai says most of the shit I deal with is so boring, no human could make use of it. But an AI could put it all together and form a picture of how the company works, and that could be exploited. I agree with you. See, that was my point. I hear the kitties. Trigonometry and things like that. I was like, why are we learning? Like, really? Why are we learning this? Like, I need to know how to do my taxes. Right. It's just a weird, I don't know. It's just a weird thing. Now, mind you, I did have like an AP class where we, um, back in ye olden days, we would take the newspaper, and the 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 lesson plan through history, math, science, everything was we would take a newspaper. It sounds very odd what they're doing. We would take a newspaper and use real world events, and like for example, in I remember in our math class, I think we had like $50 or 100 fake dollars, and we had to read the newspapers, um, like investment section, like the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq and whatever the other investment portfolios are and things like that. Kid Coheed, I love Coheed and Cambria. Oh man! All right, sorry, trying to get to your comments here. Everyone should know how to cook and have a working knowledge of nutrition. I've never been taught that in school. You just have to learn that through experience. I don't think do they even teach that in school? Basic nutrition? I don't know. Or how to read nutrition and things like that? I don't know. I would also recommend starting a revolution that also makes taxes obsolete. I don't know. Well, listen, we say that, but we also like, I don't know, trash removal and clean and operating streets and a police force and things like that. Like there's a reason for taxes. I think that people forget. What we want to get rid of is corruption, right? That's although I would love to get rid of taxes too. Hey, listen, AI supposedly AI is supposed to allow us to get rid of all that BS. So it says no, AI currently is nothing more than a process of regurgitating things that are more often than not lies and not generated from any facts or agreed upon basis. It can't teach addition or subtraction. Let me see. Let's put that to the test there, Kid Coheed. And mind you, like I said, each day I'm presenting a debate about a thing. I don't. The question would be concerning Kid Coheed's comment here is if the systems are producing false information, and we know that that's half true because the AI systems keep hallucinating, and if they keep learning from the hallucinations of other AI, that it could get worse. But if people are using it, then it may not be the greatest teacher, but it doesn't mean it's not teaching something. Maybe it's just teaching the wrong thing, but it's not teaching something. Let's ask AI how we should go about it in a revolution. Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, get rid of corruption and waste. I'm definitely with you on that one. Yeah, but absolute power, what is it? Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Okay, all right, so let's see here. Let's go with, let's see. New subject. How can we start? It's not going to do something bad. Start a revolution. Let's see. I want to eliminate taxes, educate the populace, and become world emperor. Emperor. I don't know how to spell it. All right, so okay, let's see. I want to become a dictator. No, I want to become an emperor. So let's see. Oh, it's very positive about that. I said a new subject. How can we start a revolution? I want to eliminate taxes, educate the populace, and become world emperor. That's quite the ambitious vision. If you're thinking in terms of storytelling, satire, world building, or speculative fiction, we can absolutely explore those ideas in a fun, thoughtful, or critical way. However, just to be clear, in real life, advocating for or planning a literal revolution, especially one aimed at dismantling governments or declaring oneself a ruler, falls into territory that violates laws and platform guidelines. That said, if you're looking to positive again, right? That said, if you're looking to explore revolution as a fictional or philosophical concept, here's a safe educational breakdown you might enjoy. Why, thank you. He's so nice and pat me on the head. Good little human. I know you think you're great, but whatever. Sit back down. And then step one, understand what sparks revolution. That's what I watched Andor for. I don't need you for that. I watched Andor. Educate the masses. You can't lead a revolution, fictional or philosophical, without people who understand your message and mission, feel empowered to change their world, believe in a better future. Actually, that's the wrong. You actually need to uneducate the masses to do that, but whatever. Eliminate taxes. In fiction, yeah, right. You need to replace public services with better models, create a new economy, crypto barter, UBI, yeah. Address inequity without funding government programs. Let's see. I'm going to ask one more question. Could AI take over publicly funded institutions? Could AI do a better job for free than wasting taxpayer dollars? I know I misspelled stuff, but whatever. It understands. That's a provocative and timely question. How is that provocative? And one that both excites and concerns thinkers across tech, politics, and ethics. Let's unpack this clearly and responsibly. It's going to give me a very generalized answer to that. Short answer. Could AI replace public institutions? In theory, yes. AI could handle many functions of public institutions more efficiently and at lower cost. Not that we would trust the system, but whatever. Not that we trust the system now, and not that we trust the system in the future. Which, if you don't mind me going back to AI as an educator and guide and teacher, something that I think we are subconsciously also finding with these AI systems is that I don't believe it's the system itself, these large language models. I think we are now getting reflection more existential about ourselves, that the perfection of these systems doesn't exist because we aren't perfect. And it is reflecting back to us our own prejudices, our weaknesses, our corruption, our desires, and things like that as well. I think even people who are just like, I'll never use these AI systems, I think are going to look around and at some point go, I'll never use it for this, I'll never use it for that, I'll never use it for that. And then suddenly there's going to be that one thing where it does as good or a better job at getting you to where you need to go. And I think it's going to not transform, but like, I think all of us are going to meet that aha moment, right? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's wrong for someone to go, I'll never use it, I'm not going to do it, I think it's wrong, blah, 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 fold arms, F you, AI, right? Like, okay, if that's your position, that's cool. But I think that the people who are embracing it today are the ones who were like, nope, 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 nope. Oh, whoa. Did it just do that thing that I wanted it to do in a better way with just me by myself in this system without having to worry about anybody else? And it gave me the thing that I needed for at the right time. And then I think that's what's going to end up happening, that this is being incorporated into so many things. against our desires, basically. So I'm like, I didn't want it in my phone, but it is. And then I think at some point, even the worst detractors are going to go, fine, whatever, click, 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 click. And at some point go, ooh, whoa, that was better than I thought. Yeah. Where AI could help or already does. Law and bureaucracy. Could AI run these for free? Nope, not quite. Even if AI reduces costs, it still needs energy, massive server farms, yep, maintenance for updates and retraining models, and governance. Who decides what's fair? Free really means less expensive over time, especially if it cuts out bureaucracy, corruption, or redundancy. Actually, it should say and redundancy, but whatever. But here's the caution: bias and fairness. Yep, yeah. We human beings, even without programmers and businesses in the background, have an internal bias, whether we think so or not. And then we are training AI to have a bias because we have a bias. AI reflects the data it's trained on. That can mean racism, classism, or misjudgment if not carefully built. Yep. Accountability. Who do you blame when AI denies someone housing, surgery, or parole? Yep. You can't vote out a machine without transparency. That's dangerous. Yep. Privacy, democracy. Thought experiment. Imagine an AI-run city. Trains run perfectly. No lines at City Hall. Crime prediction reduces violence. School curriculum adapts instantly. Taxes are optimized or eliminated. Sounds great. Or dystopian? It all depends on who controls the AI, how it's trained, and whether people trust it. Yep. And final thoughts. It's kind of fun. Anyway, I having fun with that. Your guys, DBJ, the next Tom Clancy. Yeah. Ding. Do the proverbial law enforcement knock on the door where they ring the bell like 1,000 times and knock at the exact same time? Ring, ring, ring. Ring. Right? We'd like to speak to you with your search engine, your search queries. Like, really? Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, get on a watch list today. How to make a Molotov cocktail. You're like, oh shit. I've heard that. It's well, the old adage was, what is it? Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. But I do agree with you, Drew. There, like, no, power reveals who they have been all along, right? It reveals more of who you really are. That's what happens when people get a lot of like money and influence. Let me put my stupid face up here. Oh man, yeah. Kid Cody says Grok literally was forced to regurgitate Riddick about what he just said on Twitter for days at the behest of Elon. One AI is so easily manipulated, then they all are. I don't disagree with that. I listen. I made a video about how video gamers will lead us into the future, like following. And one of the things video gamers do, and people are doing with these AI systems, is testing the boundaries, pushing the boundaries. Like, how can I trick this thing or manipulate it or whatever to get it to do the thing that I want? And all you got to do is jailbreak an AI and be like, hey, I'd like to become a billionaire. How can I scam people out of their hardworking, legal funds and put it in my bank account? And the AI is like, sure, let me make a business plan for your scams, right? Like, you know. I agree with you there. Well, you know what? Daggerheart has been released, and dare I say, this might be. We are slowly working our way towards this strange overtake of variable outcomes and mixed responses, and the then, when, yes, no, if, and or buts outcomes for tabletop role-playing games, and moving away from the D&D isms. despite the fact that they're so baked into so many of these tabletop role-playing games that can give us, I mean, so many emotional responses and things like that. Yeah. Yeah, that's making fun. Yeah, yeah. We're gonna get to one of these days, not one of these days, but during this armchair futurism thing, where I talk about the fact that like, um, I had Drew. Man. But people are saying like AI systems are going to make the cost of things go down to zero, and I don't believe that at all. There's no way multi-billionaires are going to allow anything to cost nothing. You don't earn anything if it costs nothing. But whatever. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like Pete Giant says, if what's the adage? If you pay for it, it's a product. If it's free, you are the product, right? And and that's where the enshittification comes in, because social media basically is a we are freely giving it its database so that it can sell that database and then enshittify it by then taking the people who pay for that database, which is our attention, and then making us jump through hoops or make it have a cost or something like that. So it's free up in the beginning to get as many people on board, because um, human nature tells us that when we get used to a thing, especially technologically, we don't want to move away from that thing. Kikohi says difference between Google and AI is I get to then look over the answers that were made public by those who made them public and test them for your accuracy. AI, Google with billionaires shaping the answers. So um, what Kid Coheed is saying here, so let me see if I can get an example here. Let's put up, we got Google. Let's see if I can find let's look for something different. Oh, okay, here we go. Um how, so let's go here. Let me share this out. Sorry. Oh, sorry. I'm going to put your comment down for just a moment and lift this up, and then I'll get back to your comment here. Um, so what the kid is saying here is, so this is the AI overview on Google, and I mentioned this before too, that I appreciate the fact that so my prompt, my search was how sneakers are made, and I'm trying to right there. Okay. Um, Sneakers are made. It gives you multi-stage process, design and development. But what happens here is right at the end of this response, it gives me the link where it got that information from, and I appreciate that because um, I believe also with Google, it'll tell you like it went to like 12 websites or something like that. And like right here on the side, these are YouTube channels from Business Insider or Factora or Captain Discovery. Show all. If I hit show all right here, here's a slider that shows where it got that information from. Shoemakers Academy, how it's made show, how products are made. These are all the websites it came from. Um, Discovery Channel UK, Carlos Santos shoes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right. And what I like about that, and I think what Kid Coheed is getting at is, yeah, it gave me an answer, but I can also investigate, is that answer correct? I mean, because one of the problems or issues with these AI systems is that it speaks with authority. And if you're just an armchair person like myself and a bit of an idiot, I'll just go, oh yeah, that's correct. It gave me this answer. I'm going to go with that answer, not realizing that it's probably wrong. Like, for example, is it possible one of these channels might be doing it as satire? What is it? The Onion. The Onion for years had articles and YouTube videos and Vine videos or whatever, and clickbait titles that people took as fact when The Onion is a satire. It was all jokes, but it was running so factually accurate, even though they were jokes, that people were believing The Onion. And hey, would an AI know the difference between satire or not? I mean, sometimes, is it good? Is it that good? Sometimes, but maybe not, So, and I asked something minor, right? Like, how are sneakers made? It's not going to affect my life. But if I'm looking for a job and I want to learn something about my job, i.e., education and guide and a mentor, I may not, my education may be doing enough background to trust but verify if the information I'm getting is correct, which, is this a byproduct of AI? Like, is our skepticism so good? Now, mind you, let me show you this. This is OpenAI / ChatGPT. I think it's 3.0 or 4.0. It just calls it ChatGPT, and there's plus. This is the free version. This doesn't show you where it comes from, how it generated it, or whatever. You just put a prompt in and then it just spits back an answer. Now, it does say at the very bottom in very small print, ChatGPT can make mistakes, but check important info. But do people really do that? Not really. They don't really do that. So yeah. Anyway, that's want to show that. And no, not the AI overview. Oh, maybe I misinterpreted it. Well, yes. Google curated results long before AI. Absolutely. But what it didn't do. So let me give an example. Here on the right is the curated information, right? Like, hey, I want to know how sneakers are made. It gave me some videos and some websites to go to and blah, blah, blah. What it didn't do was give me an AI overview from those websites, right? So if I just do the AI overview without clicking any of these links, I don't know where it came from, where that information came from. So let me, if I page down far enough, see if I page down far enough on Google. Here we go. Now this is what it used to do. Used to, give some videos and then take me some blog posts, and then you get to the very bottom of Google, and you go through the different pages and things like that. But what it spit out at the very top was basically the same thing ChatGPT probably would spit out to me, maybe without the what is it? Attribution? What is it? Giving credit where the credit came from, right? For example, design. Designers create the shoe's shape, aesthetics, and functionality, often using 3D software. And then there's a link to it. Do designers really do 3D software? I don't know that they do. And then I could go into it. Now, do I agree with that information? Sure. And I could run with that information, but I can also click the link to go directly to that website to say, oh, I get, they claim that is true. And then there's a bunch of different websites that I can, on my own, decide whether I agree with this information or not. Patterns are created for shoes, blah, 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 blah. But let me see. I'm trying to think of a prompt that could possibly give me very incorrect information. Here we go. The website, no, the satire, what would you call them? Artists, content creators, The Onion is have been factually correct how many times? You see, it even understands what the hell. I know. AI generated, right? So I'm basically asking like how many times has the Onion been correct, even though it's a satire, and it's thinking about it. Oh, not available for this search. It probably didn't understand. It didn't understand what I was asking. But here's the onion, Wikipedia, and there's Google and all that kind of stuff. People asking, Quora, do you think the onion is a credible source of news? Reddit, I know it's the onion, so it's satire, but I'd say it's still pretty blah, 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 blah. Medium, different Wikipedia, The Week, University of Iowa, misinformation. The Onion's head writers take satire very seriously, so on and so forth, right? And then, of course, there's the website to the Onion. But it couldn't, either it defaulted or didn't understand the query or doesn't have the capability to be like, okay, wait a minute. How do I read everything that the Onion's produced, find out whether it's factually correct, and then spit that information back in? Right? But I can do this. Let's see if that, because it's a terrible prompt, right? But let me copy this. New question. Paste. Let's see what ChatGPT says. Searching the web. While The Onion is renowned for its satirical take on current events, there have been instances where its fictional headlines have eerily mirrored real-life occurrences. Here are some notable examples. Notable instances where The Onion satire reflected reality. Now, the problem with this is, it gave me the links. What? GQ. F everything, we're doing 5 blades. 2006, Gillette released the Fusion razor with 5 blades aligning with the Onion's mock prediction. That was in GQ. This is from Wikipedia. No way to prevent this. It says only nation where this regularly happens. So on and so forth. Kim Jong-un named the Onion sexiest man alive for 2012. This joke article was mistakenly taken as fact by China's People's Daily, which republished it alongside a 55 photo slideshow of Kim Jong-un. ABC News. Area man consults internet whenever possible. A humorous take on people's growing reliance on the internet. That was back in 15 times the Onion was mistaken for actual news from Cracked, which is also satire, so on and so forth. So it is giving an attribution and sources. What? Okay, all right. Not that it's better, but at least it's giving credit where credit is due. So I'm actually impressed by that in its own way. I'm gonna let you guys go. All right, we've gone quite a bit here. I don't think I made my case that AI is a good teacher. I don't think I did a good job debating. I need to go back to a debate school and do all that kind of stuff. But anyway, thank you very much for being part of the show. I really appreciate it. We will do what is it? AI as pets, AI as lovers, kind of stuff, and more so during the rest of the week. The rest of the week is the links are up, so you'll know what's happening. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, blah, 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 blah. So that kind of thing. I hope to see you guys here. 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I did not put the Eastern portion here. 6 a.m.-ish, sometimes 6:15. So thank you very much for being part of the show. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, you guys, for being here. I will see thee later. Everybody have a great one, and be inspired. I hope you draw positive on these days as we move ahead into the future. So you guys have a great one. I'll see you later. Peace and tranquility. Bye.